Hey, everybody. How are you? Is this thing working? Is this thing working? Yes, there's image on the screen. Happy Sunday. Just so you know, I was waiting for Addie. I saw a bunch of you. I think Dino was the first in the chat. I saw a bunch of others. Hello. And I was waiting for Addie because behind the scenes, Addie kind of runs the show. So I always reach out to Addie. Should I do it? She'll always say yes. But here we are. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. So the last live stream, we had guests, and it was awesome. We had Amber homeless in Grants Pass, and then we had experts on criminalization, then an expert on veterans homelessness. And I didn't get to chat with you all, but one thing I promised, because you guys have been asking, that we'll be doing more of these. So I didn't set this up on Twitter. It's like we used to do it in the old days. It's just me and you hanging out talking. For those of you new, Addie is the hostess with the mostest. She is our moderator tonight. Please be nice to her. Addie is not living in her car, but also not actually what she said, housing secure. She's housing insecure. Hey, nice guy, Rudy. You are super nice. Thank you for the donation. My shirt is one of my favorite shirts. Don't know if it'll show on the screen. It's Insight. It's a supervised injection site. It's the first one in North America, and that is a good topic. You guys have probably seen maybe our documentaries on this subject. And every time I talk or post about harm reduction, we lose subscribers. And it doesn't really bother me because harm reduction saves lives and it is important. And let me put a link in the chat. Hey, thank you, Anonymous, to one of our documentaries on a supervised injection site. And I will tell you about Velvet. I am so sorry you've been homeless. Dano, good response. Insight is my favorite place in the world. Favorite place. I was doing a Canadian road trip, and the Canadian government, or people that got money from the Canadian government, asked me to drive around the country and drive around Canada and go to 24 cities in Canada. I drove from LA up to Vancouver, Victoria, and then all around Canada, over to St. John's, back down through America, back to Los Angeles. It was 4 months. I've been thinking about doing it again because I'm not getting younger, and if I'm going to do it again, I better do it soon. So anyways, the Canadian government said you can't, the only thing we don't want you to do is go to Insight. I didn't know what Insight was. And so I was like, gosh, this is a big country. I'm going to be in it for 3 months. They just don't want me to tell this one story. I had to leave in 2 weeks, a lot to get done. I didn't really even think about it. Honest to God, I didn't think about it. So then I drove up and I was in the downtown Lower East Side, which is very similar to Skid Row here in Los Angeles, just a lot colder. And the other big difference is in Skid Row, there's a lot of Black and brown people. And up in Vancouver and Canada, it's mostly Indigenous people that are disproportionately inside, or I mean, disproportionately in experiencing homelessness. So, anyways, because it's a cool story. So, I walk into this place. I meet the executive director. I walked into this place, horrible name. It's called the Portland Hotel Society. And because it's in Vancouver, you'd think Portland Hotel Society would be in Portland. So I walk into this place, and I'm a former drug addict. And I walk into this place, and here's all these people injecting drugs. And I was like, oh, this is insight. This is where the Canadian people didn't want me to go. And what was interesting is they had sent me to the Portland Hotel Society. Insight is one of their programs. They sent me to go feature a workforce development program, but the executive director got wind I was coming and he shanghaied my visit to give me a tour of Insight. So glad he did. And I'll tell you why, is because, and I come out of church growth and church growth marketing. I was an expert in church growth. I've been in more churches than most people. And I got to tell you, I felt unconditional love in Insight more than I have any place in the world. There's people with suits and ties. There's people in wheelchairs. There's people every walk of life, everything you can think of. And there's other people helping them. No matter what they look like, no matter what they smell like, it just was amazing, unconditional love. So I tweet something about it, and the response from the people running the tour was almost immediately. They sent me an email saying, "We haven't paid you yet." And I was like, okay, I get it. So then I went to a couple other Canadian cities and ended up in Calgary. And it's the group that told me not to talk about Insight, directing where I'm going. And they had me meet a Christian nurse who interned at Insight. And she wrote an article why, I'm a Christian nurse and why I help addicts shoot up. Basically, what would Jesus do? And Jesus would help people save lives. And it was all bets off, right? I responded to the people. I responded to the people running the tour, and I said, "Look, I don't care if you're going to pay me or not. I'm talking about Insight because it is one of the coolest, unconditional love, amazing places I have ever visited." And I don't know how we got on that conversation because I see you guys are talking about inflation. Canis, where do you live again? I forgot. Jay, you made it. Hey, Sar. How are you? It's like y'all never left. I heard you the first time, Dano. I'm okay. I'm a little tired tonight. How are you? Ah, Maryland. Haha. So in 2 weeks, anybody up in the Minnesota area? Anybody up in the Minnesota area? Because that's where I'm headed. I'm also headed. So in May is like almost here. Hey, Sugar Sore. I will be there for a bit. We're focusing Hennepin County. That's the county you're in. D77. I'm going to try to get back to St. Louis. I love St. Louis. I love St. Louis this time of year. Hey, Kathleen, I got to get back. There's so many places I got to get back to. I don't travel like I once did. Ooh, Sonia, it's been forever since I've been. You guys are Sherry. I think I need to do a road trip, don't you think? KC. Don't know where Yuckus is. Where is Yuck? Us. Hey. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Just like the old times. So I got here, let me put a link in. I have a question I cannot figure out. So hold on, let me find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Here it is. I cannot figure this out. So, as many of you know, we posted our 4th scripted film. It is our best film to date. Eviction was really good, but we learned from our mistakes. Eviction started off a little slow with the scene with the kids, and I think that hurt YouTube views. Eviction starts off, with the conflict and a homeless suite. But not a lot of people are watching it. Why? The thumbnail's great. The title's great. If you do all the YouTube testing stuff, right? The title and the thumbnail are great. But for whatever reason, people are not watching this. Oh, I'm sorry, Candace. And I just want to know why. I don't produce any of our content for views. I believe the right person will watch. And we have one video that has about 40,000 views that changed the laws or helped change the laws in California for homeless people to get better health care. So yeah, I've seen lower view content help homeless people in a very significant way. So it's not always about views, it's about the right viewer. But I'm just I think Peter just said I'm too left wing. I am not left wing and I'm not right wing. I'm a liberal redneck. I'm right in the middle. So I too, and I've had horrible, I'm just copying off Sonia here. So if you guys, and you can message me or whatever, I don't expect you to leave the live stream. but I'd love to know why you think people aren't watching Displaced. I'm a liberal redneck. What I mean by that is I have really strong ethics and morals. But I also am very, let people do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody, right? And folks, please remember that I try to read all the chat, but they go by fast. I could miss something. I don't mind reminders. I'm me, yeah, it's the algorithm, but the algorithm is just a reflection. If more people watch, the algorithm sends it to more people. Well, Velvet, thank you, but I'm not asking that. I mean, if you guys want to share it, great. I think your voice is strong. Our voice, I think there's 156 of us online right now. And I'm grateful, and I think you guys are wonderful. But I'm just wondering, what did we do? And, a lot of our million viewed videos were low view for many, many years. Alpha, I don't think it's shadow banned, although our content on harm reduction, because we're showing people using drugs, I mean, in a way to save lives, I think is shadow banned. But then you have all these other YouTubers who are trying to make money exploiting people, show drug addiction and people using drugs, and they get millions of views. So I don't know. That could be Canis. Hey, picking for a living. I felt the same way. I really, really did. And it was, and what picking for a living said is that, it's a fictional character, a fictional story. And if you go back and trust me on this, watch, I'll put the playlist for all of our movies. Watch our first one, Homeless. And I'll tell you something about it. So here's all of our movies. And I agreed with you. I agree with you until Luciana brought us Homeless. And I had been approached by some pretty big productions, some pretty big well-funded productions with some, pretty named celebrities, but the story wasn't there because it's exactly what you said. I mean, it was fictional, but the story was just not there. Then I saw Homeless, and I put here, I'm going to put it in a link again. It's our first movie. It's just called Homeless. This is a playlist to all of our movies. Tribal Chief. Let's get back to that. Let me finish this story. There's a scene in it where the homeless man, there's no dialogue, not a word is spoken. He's standing outside of a restaurant and he's looking in the window, and you see a woman eating pizza. And then you see him looking in like, gosh, I wish I had pizza. And then you see her noticing him watch her eat. And then she puts the food down. And that to me was so powerful on both sides. It showed or transmitted through emotions, through story, what the homeless person feels and what a public person feels. Because I believe we all matter, right? So that's why I started to do it. But Tribal Chief asked what is going to happen with if the Supreme Court goes either way. And to be honest, I don't think anybody knows. We're all believing for the best, but our Supreme Court is kind of funky. I mean, I don't know, they also had the Trump trial, the Trump thing they're working on where he's asking for immunity, right? So basically a president can, have the military go kill somebody and it wouldn't be a crime because he's a president. How messed up is that? I almost swore. How messed up is that? And the conservative judges are considering it. Come on. So I'm hoping for the best, but when we were in Columbia, and we're in Columbia, Missouri, and Columbia has basically outlawed homelessness. It's a 15-day jail fine. And we were talking to the police officer that was helping us, very grateful for his support. And he says, we just don't arrest people. We're not going to arrest people. So even though the Supreme Court rules one way or the other, local communities still have to arrest people. And jails are already overcrowded. I mean, you're going to have, like, Grants Pass is so... when I think of Portland, and I don't mean to offend anybody here, right? When I think of Portland, any of you seen like Portlander and, you think of like extremely liberal, but the truth is the middle of Oregon is extremely conservative. And I've had some interactions with the Gospel Rescue Mission in Grants Pass this last week. And they're hell bent on, being stuck in... Charles, you're in Grants Pass right now. So they're just stuck in outdated religious traditions that, maybe in the 40s, 3 hots and a cot and Bible services helped. But so where I believe is that, the fight is just beginning. Sadly, criminalization of homelessness will continue to grow no matter what the Supreme Court decides. So we've got to get stronger and get louder. The people pushing for criminalization have a lot more money. They're more organized. So we have to just work harder. But great question. Yeah, Canis, and they are stuck. They are stuck on that religion. So Jay's philosophy, there was a lot of outsourcing, but the problem is now, right? Chipotle has a robot to make burritos. Trucks are going to drive themselves. They already are now. Millions of truckers and the other industries like truck tires, right? And people that service, are going to disappear. They're going to be laid off. I've seen in an airport a robot sweeping the floor. I've seen this a couple of times. There's a robot now that cleans toilets. Um, Already for years, you go to a store, they've been removing kiosks. In Pasadena, I probably should go one of these days. There's a fully autonomous restaurant, 100% robots, no humans. And while everybody's talking about China and outsourcing jobs, and that was an issue, right now it's computers. And the politicians know this. Trump knew it. Trump plays on the manufacturing China thing a lot because that's what people believe. But it's computers. Jason, you bring up a great point. I mean, cities are also already going to cashless. Cities are already going to cashless. And for homeless people, I mean, many survive on panhandling. The average homeless person only makes about $25 on panhandling, and majority of that money goes to food. Yes, some buy beer, some buy drugs, some buy cigarettes, but majority of it goes to food. System nomad, you are spot on. I mean, Andrew Yang was doing the $1,000 a month, which isn't enough because universal basic income has to cover rent and basic needs like food, cell phone, bus pass, clothes, and 1,000 a month is not going to cover that. Here's the catcher, though: we can't even. Our country can't even do universal basic health care. We are stuck on stupid. Amy, that's great. So let me ask you guys, what do you think? Hopefully you've been paying attention to the Grants Pass Supreme Court case. What do you think is going to happen? Crazy lady, it's great that you live on $1,000 a month, but um, I bet you it's tight, and you must be in an area where either you're in some subsidized housing for seniors or really cheap housing. Alpha Sigma, spot on. Dano, how do you do that? I mean, well, I should say, UK is extremely expensive for us because the pound is so much more. Thank you, Jay. I agree. Let's have Addie lead all the Supreme Court justices on a homeless and jail tour. Swar, I was in UK last summer. I'd love to come back to Cardiff. Yeah, Norman Cox. I mean, that's what's happening. I mean, there's money, there's like this shared housing thing, which, if people like that and it works for them. I lived in a homeless shelter for 7, almost 8. Insert that F bomb there. I'm really trying not to swear. But I lived in a homeless shelter for almost 8 years, and I do not do roommates well. Susan, I would love to visit Honolulu, but I get slammed all the time. And people would think it's a vacation. They wouldn't think I'm there working. So that's one situation that I have to have some connections bring me in. Jason, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Presley. Wow, up to 187 viewers. You guys are awesome. I mean, we haven't done this in a while. Well, we had the displaced live stream last week, and I thought that went very well. Well, you know what, H, I'm going to say this. My stepfather was a Republican, and it was such a different Republican Party back then. I don't know what the Republican Party is now, and Democrats are pushing for criminalization too. What has happened, in my point of view, is, and maybe it's always been this way, but because of now we're under a microscope because of TikTok and Instagram, maybe it's, we now notice, right? But because there's a lot of things that we notice that we didn't notice before, thanks to technology and social media. But the politicians, I want to believe, are there to help us to do what we want to happen in our country, to improve things the way we want. But what we're seeing, and this is why criminalization is growing, is politicians just want to stay in office. So they know criminalization will make homelessness worse, but the public just wants homeless people gone now. So they vote for criminalization, which will make homelessness worse, but they'll be out of office by then, right? It's all selfish. Let's stay in office. Hey, Bliss. It is, Dano. It is. It reminds me, tonight's chat reminds me of the old times, right? So when I started doing this, I had guests all, and well produced. I'm a TV producer. So I had guests, and one day I looked at the chat, and you guys weren't even, like tonight, I was talking about insight, and you guys were talking about the cost of living, right? Totally two different conversations. And so like tonight, there's no real show. I mean, it's a show, it's a live stream, but I didn't produce anything. I didn't plan anything except to hang out with you guys. And it's awesome. Trying to give you all a compliment. Yeah, crazy lady. Grants Pass seems like a very strange place. I might go back. I might go back. Jay's philosophy. I used to love camping. Oh my God. My one of my uncles was actually head of the New York State Park. He was head of the New York State Parks. And because I was a bad kid. I was a drunk bad kid. And I used to do some things at state parks, and I used to get away with it because I would drop my uncle's name. I used to love camping, and then I became homeless, and now I don't camp. I have not camped since I slept outside. Henry, I don't know. I've got to look him up. Last I knew, he was riding a bicycle with a trailer across the country. Okay, I'm going to swear on this one. Cheech was happy as shit driving across the country on his bike with his trailer, just camping out. I mean, unbelievable. He's one of the everybody I've met has stayed with me, and they're all wonderful. But Cheech is someone that, my gosh, what a character. It's the blue glasses. Yeah, I've got to go. I got to go see where he is. Hopefully he's all right. I'm sure he's all right. Oh my gosh. I went back to Austin looking for him, and he had already, built his bike with his trailer and, took off. Chrissy, I'm so sorry. Charles, I'm so sorry that you were homeless a few times. Velvet, if I was younger and I didn't live in Los Angeles, I don't know how people ride bikes in big cities like New York and Los Angeles. I would probably have an electronic bike. I had a folding bike. This is back when I was chief marketing officer and I was making great money. I went and bought, because I was going to ride my bike to work every day. And I went and bought a folding bike, and um, it was really, really cool. And then I never used it, and I ended up selling it, lost money. Sherry, I do not know who makes Harley motorcycles. Charles, happy 14 years of sobriety. That is awesome. Walter's in the house. I was hoping you'd see my post, Walter. Kevin, thank you so much. Oh, Kenneth, housing is a commodity. That's one of the problems. Oh, Charles, you work with Mint in Grants Pass? You know Cassie? Oh my gosh, Cassie is wonderful. I'm going to come back. I'm really going to try to come back. I'm really going to try to come back. Did we meet while I was there, Charles? Uh-oh, Walter, you got an SSI review? Good point, Kevin. I just looked at your Facebook profile and you don't have a photo, Charles. So don't know if I met you or not. Oh, I think, we did. Yes. I think that's you with the chicken, right? Okay, folks, we got 20 minutes. What do you want to talk about? Dano says we can't do any rants tonight. So it has to be something light. Addie doesn't like the rants anyways. I'm being sarcastic. Dano didn't say anything, but Addie doesn't like the rants. The trolls come out. So fuzzy gray toad. Housing first as a model is brilliant, right? It is really brilliant. The problem is that we've never been able in this country, in most cities, been able to implement it correctly. So I'm going to drop this link here for you to watch after, or anybody, where Finland, utilized housing first and explains it. I mean, Finland has reduced homelessness 12 years in a row. It's unbelievable. And I have seen housing first work and I've seen housing first fail. And when it fails, it's just because of lack of resources. The nonprofits, either they don't have the housing to put people in, or they put them in and they don't have the services to help the people. It's just really I'm going to swear on this one. It's really fucked up, because housing first could work dramatically, but it's just fucked up. So hopefully we will see more of a growth. I'm going to a U.S. city in a week to be able to show how it's being run here. Hey, mango papaya. Yeah, I don't know where you are in Europe, but rents are going crazy everywhere. Alpha Sigma, no comment on JFK Jr. John, John's asking about did the homeless rallies help? I got to tell you where it has helped tremendously. So every sector is like this. So I'm going to say something critical about the homeless sector, but it's not just the homeless sector. Franchises like McDonald's and, construction and, politicians or morticians, every sector is like this. So the homeless sector is divided. It's almost like a high school clique, like a bunch of high school cliques, right? Everybody, these people are over here, they believe this. These people over here, they believe this. These people over here, and you got these doing veterans homelessness, these doing youth homelessness, these doing and so on and so on. And people rarely get together. Everybody got together except the rescue missions. The rescue missions didn't. I mean, I'm sure there are some faith-based people there and hopefully some more faith-based orgs, and that's an issue. But it was amazing how everybody got together. I've never seen it like that. I was only at the DC protest, but I gotta say that's been amazing across the country. Kevin, it's a great idea, and maybe we can do a campaign. You got to remember, it's just me. I'm invisible people. We have some freelancers that we hire, but it's just me, and I work around the clock, and I can't take up another battle. So I apologize. It's important. I really think it's important. There's tenants' rights organizations wherever you live that you might want to connect with and support them in that battle. Gary R., I don't understand removal of private property to house the homeless. Don't understand the question. Picking for a living. We do, but we don't have volunteer opportunities that are normal. Normally you show up at a homeless shelter and you can sweep the floor or help them cook or build hygiene kits. We don't have any of that. It's something that I wish I could figure out. "15 minutes. What do you want to talk about?" You get me on a good rant, that will take up 10 of it. Oh, that's right. Addie said no rants. You're very true. Ooh, maybe. Uh-oh, Addie says I can rant, so somebody get me going. You know what? I'm 100% for universal basic income, but I don't believe it's going to happen in my lifetime. We can't even get universal basic health care. The people that have millions and billions of dollars don't want to pay for other people's health care. So if they don't want to pay for other people's health care, they're not going to pay for other people's rent. And they have extra money, right? So here in Los Angeles, they voted, I knew it was going to pass because it's a mansion tax, basically. So every mansion, I think it's 5 million. I don't know the exact number, but if you sell a house that's $5 million or over, there's an extra tax added onto it to go to housing. I think it's a pretty good deal. But all the rich people, they hurried up. Now, these are people that have millions and millions in the bank, extra money, right? They hurried up to try to sell their property before the mansion tax. And now they're trying to find all these loopholes so they don't have to pay the tax. So that's the problem right there, is greed. There's so much money in this country, but the people that have the money, they're greedy. Ooh, almost got a rant there. Almost got a rant. Hey, Jason Spears, thank you, thank you. So, Addie, you can leave shitting in public. What do you think? That's a good comment. I don't know how to put it back. So, CC Brabs asked shitting in public. What do you think? Well, when you got to go and there's no bathrooms, you can do it in public. Plain and simple. Hello, Selena. I wish I knew where love and compassion went. So, there was like a poop app in San Francisco, and I'm out on streets where there's a lot of homelessness, and people have to shit, people have to poop. It's just part of life, right? And I will say I see more dog than human. And those are usually left by people that have money. Well, they're dogs, right? So they just don't pick up after themselves. And usually homeless people have what's commonly known as a honey bucket, where, and you can buy them at Home Depot. They're like 5-gallon buckets. You put a toilet seat on it, and you go. A lot of people living in their van use this, right? It's sad that we live in this country. I mean, there is a report. Oh God, I wish I could find it. There's a report by the Los Angeles Homeless Healthcare, and I think it's even called "No Place to Go." Let me see. Yes, I found it. So it's called Norm. So I'll put a news article. You can actually find the actual research. Research. They found 9 toilets for 1,800 people at night. 1,800 people had 9 toilets. Nine. Only 9. 1,800 people had 9 toilets at night. That is not enough. It's actually like 80,000. Wait, what would the report say? I want to quote this right. So it's 80 toilets short of what the UN says that amount of people needs. Deborah, I'm sure it's the same everywhere. And nobody wants to step on shit. Nobody wants to step on shit. Nobody wants to see shit. Nobody wants to shit outside. Well, the problem is bathrooms. I will add to this, and Norman Cox just reminded me of something, is that it is harder. I mean, I remember going down to New York City in my 20s, and it was the first place where you had to be a customer to use the toilet. So you would have to go in and buy something, right? I never experienced that until I went to New York City in my 20s. And this 40 years ago, I'm that old. And now it's everywhere. I mean, it's really hard to find a public toilet. And that's, as I get older, I got to go more. And it's really hard for me when I'm out walking around handing out socks. And I can't imagine how hard it is. I can't imagine how hard it is for people that are living outside. We did a story about Samba in the mini documentary we did about the doctor in Venice Beach. Wonderful story. And Samba is older and he's incontinent. And they actually remove the porta potty every night, right? And here's a man that's incontinent, which is a problem most seniors may have. And he's homeless. Okay, we got 5 minutes. I'd really love to know what you guys, because we did everything right with Displaced. We made it a good movie, good story. I mean, the amount of money we have is tiny. So, we don't have huge money. Otherwise we'd hire, George Clooney and Brad Pitt, right? And we did great for the amount of money, and we are very conscious about the YouTube audience and what engages them. And people are just not watching it. Hi, Victoria. Sugar Sore, I agree. Let's go watch Displaced. Thank you, Selena. So, Gary, we are off to Hennepin County to do a follow-up to Helsinki, and we also have some video podcasts with experts from the homeless sector. What I'm trying to do, so just so you guys know, that our donations for years, right? For 10 years, I worked without compensation or healthcare. I just believed in this. And I did other jobs, right? I did other jobs while I was doing this so I could survive. Invisible people rarely raise money. I just learned how to be scrappy. So every year I was able to raise the money until we were able to hire somebody, me. We have one part-time employee, and we were able to pay some freelancers. And we continued to grow. And then all of a sudden, gas prices went up. We got 2 wars going on. People are just, I think it was Canis or somebody saying there was $7 for a loaf of bread or something. People aren't donating like they once did. So our donations were down 24% last year. And this year it looks like it's going to be the same, which multiplies it on that. So what I'm doing to try to counter that, because I don't believe donations are going to come back up. People just don't have the money. So I'm trying to create more content that's sponsor friendly, that would be a way to raise some revenue. I mean, still good content that people want to watch, that educates and provides value, but we're also trying to raise some money through some brand deals. Something I have avoided, because then you have to put these commercials in, and you have to not always can control the story. Like the harm reduction stories, I don't know if I could, probably some of the most important videos we've uploaded, produced, but I don't know if a brand deal would go around and help that. We do occasionally run a GoFundMe, but they raise a couple $1,000s. Okay, folks, we're coming up on what movie? Okay, so I have to end with the movie. If you guys are saying what movie, I have to end with the movie. Right. So this is, how long is it? I think it's 14 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. It's not a long movie. The ending is a surprise. But this is our latest movie. I'll put it in here. It's called Displaced, about a homeless veteran that keeps getting displaced by criminalization. I will at some point. Right now, I think the Grants Pass is a more important video. Anyways, folks, happy Sunday. It was great connecting with you all. You made me so happy. Thank you, everybody. Lots of familiar faces. And thank you, Addie, for being a wonderful moderator. Next week, I think I might be traveling. I'm not so sure about the live stream. We'll try. We'll see. I know next Monday, a week from tomorrow, we start another big project. And I just want to say how much I appreciate all of you. You guys have a great week. Bye.